Welcome back, everyone, to episode 4 of Blue Blood on the Main Line. I'm your host, Curtis Sumpter, and I'm here with one of my all-time favorites, Mike Nardi. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Appreciate it, Kurt.
Awesome.
It's always fun to get our former guys to come back, talk a little bit about our experience together, and we always have fun on the court playing and off the court, hanging out as brothers, man. So it's good to be with you, and let's talk some VU ball, man.
For sure. So I always start the show by introducing my guests to the new Villanova Wildcat fans who don't know who Mike Nardi is, but this man needs no introduction. 2004 first team all rookie, Big East. Came in with Will Sheridan in 2004. Basically was, that's when Villanova transitioned from being an average team into a great team once we got you. So I just want to let you know that you took Villanova, you helped, transcend Villanova to where it is today. But also, you come into Villanova, playing alongside Randy Foye, Alan Ray. How did that transpire for you coming out of one of the all-time greatest programs in St. Patrick's? Like, what made you choose Villanova?
Yeah, not to take away from any of those other guys, but you were a huge part of that team and a huge part of that group. And we were all from the Northeast, right? So we all were familiar playing with each other, playing against each other for the most part. So I felt like the fit for me was playing with guys that I was very comfortable with because I knew what kind of game they had, and competing against those guys every day, I knew how good they were. And at the time, Villanova had a great tradition, dating all the way back to the first Final Four, and that was important to me. And there was a time period there where there was some transition and coach got the job, and we knew we were building the program up from scratch. And that was really attractive to me because I wanted to be one of those guys to put my imprint on the program. And I think our core group of yourself and Randy and Al and Jason, Jason Frazier, and all those guys that came in that class, and Mikey Claxton and Baker Dunleavy, I wanted to be a part of that. And that was something that just, I feel, kind of pushed me towards coming to Villanova.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you made that choice. I remember, during my freshman year here, we're recruiting, the next guard. Like I wasn't used to that, high school, you think you got the best players. You're not trying to bring in another great player, because everyone wants to play. But I remember coach saying like, hey, man, we got the next best guard coming out of Jersey. And I'm like, I thought we just had him like Randy, But he's like, no, this guy from St. Patrick's. And for me, I just started playing basketball in 9th grade. And this was crazy. We could have been teammates, maybe before. St. Patrick's, my U team was trying to get me to go there.
Yeah.
And I had no idea about the tradition of St. Patrick's. All I just heard was that it was like the best school pretty much in the Northeast to go to, other than like Rice. And again, still unfamiliar with the game of basketball, but it was like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. So once we started recruiting you, I was like, wow, I know this program has a rich tradition. We got this guy coming out. Like, I can't wait to see, who he is. And like you said, immediately I recognized your game. Like you said, you knew probably like, yeah, I can play with these guys.
Right.
I didn't know that. We probably didn't know that till you got here, but you were like instantly when you came in and everything just gelled, man. So speak to that when you came in, just the competition with Randy and Al, and like I said, Mike Nardi, and with Mikey Claxton. And we still had senior leadership. Was Derek Snowden here
Derek
too?
Snowden was still here.
Snowden was still here as well. So how did that go?
Yeah, and just the transition from St. Pat's to Villanova. Like back then, Coach Kevin Boyle was doing a great job of getting guys from New York, New Jersey, and we had a bunch of guys that I came up with, playing that were from New York. So the tradition of St. Pat's, it kind of got started, with a Shaheen Holloway, right, who was one of the best guards in the country out of New York City. And so I was familiar with that, and I knew what kind of players they were. And I learned how to become a gym rat playing for St. Pat's and playing with other great players. And coming to college, you're not going to be the best guy, right? So you want to play with other good players, and I knew we had a great core of that. And then once I got here, man, it was such a transition because I came in actually thinking about redshirting, because I had broken my ankle my junior season in high school, and I had missed a lot. And physically, I didn't feel ready enough to compete in the Big East, especially the old Big East, as you know.
Right.
There were some ridiculous players and size. And so I came in with that mindset. And then to touch base on Derek Snowden, who was our senior point guard at that time, very good player who had been here for, almost 4 years. Unfortunately, that summer he had tore his ACL.
Right.
And, and so now coaches, he's saying, like, look, Mike, we talked about you coming in and redshirting, and if you still want to do that, that's fine. But, we had this opportunity, obviously, with Snowden. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but it's going to be for a good portion of the season. And I was like, yo, I'm in. Like, I'm playing.
Now, but I go from maybe not playing to maybe 30 minutes.
Right,
sure.
right. And playing with Randy and Al helped me a lot because those guys got me prepared. And playing against you every day. And just our guys were so competitive, man.
Mm-hmm.
The practices, the battles, and getting
Crazy.
into the scrums. But, like, we respected that, and, like, that was our personalities. And we thrived in those situations. And when you're trying to build a program, those are the guys you want. You want guys that are underdogs that want to prove themselves. And I just remember going through practices and being like, Randy, please give the ball. I'm like, I'm tired of guarding this dude, man. I get switched on curtain and post. I'm like, this is why I chose to come there. But that's what made me better, and that's what pushed each other. And we got to a point where, as you know, we started to turn the program around a little bit.
You mentioned earlier in this segue, you said, coming into Villanova, you were kind of, you had a good self-awareness about yourself, physically, your game. Wasn't sure if you wanted to come here and play right away. That shows, who you are. You're very aware of, what's going on. And it shows also that when you came here, not only did our program change from just, a basketball standpoint of guys, just us playing more fluid together, you brought a different approach to the game, like you said, coming from St. Patrick's. And I think, everyone, in that class and era saw just a different attitude. You came in with that underdog mentality. You came in with that gym rat mentality, trying to get better. And maybe because you already had in your mind that you wanted to redshirt that year and try to use that year to get better. But it rubbed off on everybody even more. I mean, coaches already pushing us, but, like you said, that competitiveness. And it was like, oh, Mike is out here, working extra too. Like me, make sure I get my extra. That's something I, did my freshman year. I got really good at that. But when you came in, it was more. It was like another guy doing it more. You know what I mean? And then leading. And that's another thing. Most freshmen don't come into a program and try to take on a leadership role right away. I felt like you had no fear. When you came in, you was like, coach gave me this opportunity and I'm going to lead this team. And you did that, man. And we went on to have a great career. So just fast forward a couple years. So tell me about, I go down 2004 or 5, whichever year that was. Now the lineup's changing, the game changing. Now you're more than just, the blue guy facilitator, not that. So now you look at it as like, Mike, you got to go out here and get a bucket. You know what I mean? Like, how did that switch your mentality? Because, we always knew you can score. We always knew you can play. I mean, we've seen it every day. But again, your role on the team was, keep everybody together. But yet, you would knock down those shots. How was the junior year for you?
Yeah, that was when you went down, we were just crushed, and anytime you see one of your teammates that you were starting to reach the pinnacle of your career. You were the first, in my eyes, and I think this is how our whole system started to change. You were the first mismatch type of guy that could play inside, step out to the perimeter. You did that against Kansas multiple times. And when you went down, that was a huge blow to us. And I think in coach's mind, he was just trying to get the best group together and the most skill out on the floor to start a game. And that's when we went to the 4 guards with myself, Alan, Randy, and Kyle. And then Will Sheridan playing the 5 for us. So I think that kind of really gave us the whole dynamic of 4 guards and playing faster and shooting more threes. But on the other side of that, defensively, we had to turn it up.
Right.
You know, because we were just so much smaller and teams were bigger. And so we had to speed teams up. We had to pressure them more. We had to really get up in them.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back to us talking about that underdog mentality because we're undersized.
Yeah.
I remember Coach saying to Randy, Randy, I need you to play the 4 for me. And he's like, no worries, Coach. I'll go get a mouthpiece. He had to go get a mouthpiece because he's like, yo, if I'm gonna be down here banging with these dudes, I'm not getting hit in the face, right? So just that mentality, I think it kind of played into who we were. And as far as my role goes, I was always realistic as a player. You know, I think sometimes maybe to a fault, but sometimes, I mean, most of the time it benefited me because I could play with other better players. And I wasn't worried about who they were and how we were being compared because I wanted to fulfill my role. And I knew what I was good at and what I wasn't good at, you know. And then there was that part where you still feel like you can do certain things, even though you're not supposed to, right? So
the guy had that sweat.
Exactly. So making plays early on and being able to score and then playing with, 3 NBA guards, right? So when you're playing with Kyle Lowry and Allen Ray and Randy Foy, you better be ready to just catch and shoot.
Right.
You know, because those guys can go off the dribble, they can go get a bucket. And then when the defense collapsed, you know, they would find me. So I just think I was always in tune with whatever we kind of needed. And I accepted that. And I had fun with it, man.
That was an unbelievable season. That season allowed everyone to grow.
Right.
Like really, really grow. Randy grew.
Yeah.
No one expected him or thought he could be that physical down low. He showed, other parts of his game. Allen, showed other parts of his game. You showed other parts of his game. Kyle.
Right.
Bump. Everybody. Dante. Shane.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody contributed, came in. Baker, Chris, Jason, everyone came in and was able to expand their game. And it also, for me, it showed like, hey, we had our system when I was in there. We knew what I was going to do. We knew what you were going to do. Alan, we had our little flow, but this was like so random.
Right.
It was like so random, last minute.
Yeah.
And I think everybody got better, even coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just got better because it forced everyone to think outside the box,
right.
Try new things, be innovative, and live without fear. And I think, what's our term? Shoot them up, leave them in the streets.
Yeah, shoot them up, sleep in the streets.
Shoot them up, sleep in the streets. Right. I mean, just no fear out there. And I think that season showed everyone just going out there playing hard. And I think that was, to me, your best season. Watching you play, you were just an animal. Like, just no fear. It was a different Mike Nardi, which I love, a different swag. It was great to watch, and watch it from the sideline. I was so excited because this is everything we all talked about, getting to that point.
Right.
And we finally made it.
Yeah.
So senior year, we're now back.
Yep.
How was that? Now we have Scotty Reynolds coming in, freshman now. We got to groom him. We know he's coming in here. Because again, we were young. The dynamic of the team was so different.
It's a great point.
So I was telling those guys I had to take on a different role as well. Be connected and not be so distant as the oldest guy on the team. But you now as the point guard, starting point guard, how did you take on Scotty coming in here as freshman and helping him grow?
Yeah, I honestly, man, I think we, as a program, our seniors have always passed down the reins to the younger guys and teaching them what Villanova basketball was about. And, when you're a senior, you understand what this whole thing is all about. And, we're bringing in talented guys every year. And Scotty was one of those guys. And it was like, look, this guy has a chance of being great. He's going to make some mistakes early, as we all do. But let him kind of do that. And we can kind of, support them, and we can make up for some of those mistakes because we're older and we've been through it before. And so we knew, like, he's coming in, he can score, he plays hard, he's going to defend, and he may not be as efficient early, but playing through him a little bit more, we would have the best chance as the season went on. And playing with him in the backcourt was outstanding. We could both play off of each other. He was a great shooter, great creator. And then we both played hard. Like that was one thing that we kind of made our names off of coming in was he played hard, and he did all those other things. And so I think that also made up for a lot of those other shortcomings when you're a young guy.
Sure. Coach does a great job of the program as far as matching up, seniors, underclassmen, as far as definitely on the road as roommates.
Yeah.
Was Scotty your roommate?
Yeah.
See, that's very, very important because and it shows because at the beginning of the season, you saw where he was at, and you saw where he was at towards the beginning of the season. And not even so much the points, just more so just the understanding of the game.
Yeah.
Villanova basketball, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was a lot, not just coach, because as a freshman, sometimes coach can get in your ear and you're trying to figure things out. You can become a little tunnel deaf. But if you got somebody, one of your peers, who you respect right there, who's been through it, they can relay that message in a different way. And I definitely think you've helped him through his freshman year, and which ultimately led him to his sophomore year and to his senior year being great.
Yeah.
So I think that was a great move, obviously by coach, putting you guys together and letting you do that. Let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at BetRivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with BetRivers yet, now's the time because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. What sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay Instant approval, withdrawing cash winnings is safer, more secure, and more reliable. With basketball season tipping off, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now we're playing in our last final game as college athletes. It's my 5th year, your senior year. You suffer a foot injury. I remember just the night before the game, or days leading up to that, you were going so hard with treatment.
Yeah.
Everyone counted us out. Didn't think we were actually going to make the tournament that year.
Right.
But we actually made it. And it was kind of sad to not have you at full strength out there for that game. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man, because your last year, you want to go all out. You want to be able to contribute in any way to the team. And our second to last regular season Big East game against Syracuse at the Wells Fargo Center, I had a really bad sprain. Just got tangled up, bad sprain. And, again, like you said, trying to get treated, doing everything you could to get back. Then the Big East tournament came around, played a little bit, didn't play a ton. I just felt like I was trying, but I was kind of hurting us because me at 70% playing in the Big East, probably not as good as, one of our younger guys playing at 100%. And I was trying, but it just wasn't working out. And then that last game against Kentucky, kind of in the same boat. It got better, but it just still wasn't great. I tried to play, and we just came up short, And I just remember feeling a little bit empty, because I felt like we struggled that year and we battled, and just the dynamics of that team of having, 4 really, older seniors, guys are leaders, and then freshmen and sophomores, trying to bring those guys along. And I felt like we kind of ended it on a good note because we did make the tournament. And like you said, people counted us out. But it was a little bit of an unfinished business because we weren't at full strength. And, at the end of the day, we did everything we could and we came up short, to a very good Kentucky team as well. Yeah, I agree. It sucked because I remember that year I struggled all year trying to stay healthy. Right. You were healthy. Right. We were like, And then I was finally starting to feel healthy, which they said towards the end of the season, your body will finally start to feel going into the last couple of regular seasons of the Big East, like right after we played Providence and I had that calf injury. I started feeling better after that going to the Big East tournament. And then going into the tournament, I'm playing like really good. Yeah, you were back. And then I'm like, oh man, this is not now. But I felt for you. I knew what you were feeling, wanting to be out there. It's your senior year. Right. You know what I mean? This is our time. You know what I mean? It was very, very hard to watch. And we tried to pick you up as much as we could because you held us down all year. You, Will Sheridan,
Scotty. Everyone just played so hard. So it was kind of heartbreaking that that last game we weren't able to kind of walk off and get that cheer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. And I kind of felt for you for that.
Yeah.
But after that, I mean, tell me about your professional career.
Yeah. So, that whole transition, that kind of fueled my fire as well, because I felt like,
You always will.
yeah, like, you didn't get a chance to really finish on a great note, but now, you got to turn the page and get to the next chapter, And I mean, as you know as well, trying to become a professional, going through mini camps, workouts for different NBA teams, you got a lot of things going on through your mind. And I was fortunate enough to have been working on kind of a backup plan if that didn't work out, where I got my Italian citizenship. And
Right.
So I just, I kind of being realistic on who I was as a player. I'm striving to be the greatest. I want to, get a shot at the NBA. But if that doesn't work out, what am I doing? And just Coach picked me, gave me the opportunity to kind of work on my citizenship through somebody that he knew that had great experience over there. And, that gave me the opportunity to go overseas. And I loved it. I mean, I had a good career over there, won a championship one year, battled through some injuries. As you know, you get to different cities and sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't, and it's not easy.
It's not easy.
The language barrier, but I'm Italian, and I can't express how much I really enjoyed being over there and learning about my culture. And I probably would have never gotten over there if it wasn't for basketball. And so that was an experience in itself. And then being over there, the people were great. I made a lot of close friends and people that I still talk to today. And my experience was amazing over there.
I hear that from a lot of people who are able to go back to where their roots originated from. Italians, first time I got a chance back to Italy, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Irish, go back to Ireland, it was amazing.
Right.
The same for African Americans' life. You go back to Africa, like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I'm glad you were able to get that experience. I've gotten a chance to go to Italy, go to Ireland, but I've never been to Africa. So I hope to have that experience, where you feel like, oh wow, like this is who I am, this is where we're from.
Yeah.
And just kind of embrace that.
And just the things that you don't even think about that you learn about your culture, and that was just an outstanding experience.
Like you're the foreigner. It's like I'm Italian,
right.
You're a gringo.
Yeah, you're an American Italian. You're not 100% Italian.
Oh man, I get it totally, man. But you played for some really good teams. I'm a little jealous. You played for Milan. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, Mike, Milan, that's crazy. But I get it though. How was that experience? That's one of the biggest teams in Europe.
Right? Yeah. That was it was actually a cool experience. Early in that preseason, I was kind of passing up certain contracts because I was hoping to get something better.
Right.
And then it came down to a point where I had to make a decision, and they had a great team already, and they were deep. And I figured, you know what, if I can play for that type of team and contribute, it'll help me in the long run. And I played with some great players there, David Hawkins and Temple, right? So we were familiar with each other. Lynn Greer was on that team.
Wow.
He came in towards the middle of the
season. Was P.D. Jabba on that team? It was like a Philly homecoming, right?
Exactly. And I played a little bit. I didn't play much with that team, but it helped me. It helped me understand what big time EuroLeague basketball was about over in Europe. And then I switched mid-year to a Division II team in Fort Lee, who we actually, again, underdog mentality. They were last in the league, and they kind of revamped. It was a crazy transition, but they brought in a new coach, and they brought in like 3 or 4 other guys, and I was one of them. And we just wanted to save the team, right? Like over there,
back to the lower division. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's like don't let this team go into 3rd division or to 2nd division. That's all we care about.
Right. Yeah. So they had lost 10 games in a row. And we brought in, some new guys. Bobby Jones, played for the University of Washington, played for the Sixers. Good friend of mine today, and Lee Meyer Goldwire and a couple other guys. And we actually saved the team, and it's pretty incredible because the last game that we needed to win, I made the winning shot. So it was an awesome experience, and the city was so passionate. And I went back there the next year. They brought me back again, and they made me the captain. And then I got injured.
Oh my God!
I got injured. So yeah, that whole year was a struggle. But the people were awesome, man, and I loved being there.
The game of basketball is so much different overseas than it is in America. It's not even funny. It's like every NBA team. It's like a college team in a sense. Like your alumni, your fans, everyone's just in it. Like they just care about you. Care about nobody else. They take it personal. I represent AC Milan. I don't care about any other team.
Yep.
We can fight if we want to. Like, it's just that mentality, hardcore, hard nosed. And in some instances where I've played for teams where like certain people might get threats if we don't win the game.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
you might roll to the parking lot from a road trip and somebody's car might be vandalized if they had a bad game or little things like that. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, this is what goes on? Like, the fans take it real serious. We sent the team home. Ike, who's one of the best teams in Greece, you know, they're like the Lakers, essentially. Right. Sent them down to the second division. They wouldn't let them out our gym. Their fans were like,
just wait,
surrounded their bus. It was like they had to call the police. I was like, seriously, it's that serious? But to show the passion, the love.
Exactly.
And you feel that when you play for that team. You feel like I got everybody behind me. Like there's no fear. Let me go out there and play hard. And I like that's what I loved about European basketball.
Yeah,
it felt like going outside of my neighborhood and just playing against the guys. Like no refs, no nothing.
Right,
like, let's just ball, man. Have fun.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got a chance to do that, Mike. I know you said it, kind of short, injuries and things like that, but you had a backup plan, which was great. So when you was over there, what was your first plan? Was you automatically saying like, hey, let me come right back into coaching, or were you thinking about other things?
Yeah, I felt like when I was over there, I wanted to play for at least 10 years. Like that was my goal. And I played 8 years. And as you start to get further and further down the line in your career, you start to think like, okay, what do I want to do next? You know, and I think you can relate, but when you start to get away from the game, you know, whether it be injury or something, you know, else that forces you away from it, you really appreciate it more. And that's just with anything in life. And I just knew I wanted to be around the game, you know, and I wanted to be some way, shape, or form helping, you know, younger guys who have got, you know, going through the same things as I have been through in school. And so when I was in school, I did not want to coach. Coach would be like, "Oh, you be a good coach." And I'm like, I don't want to coach. I want to play as long as I can, and then, you know, put my money away and all that. But then you got to make a decision, right? Because things change. And I was like, I want to coach. You know, like I want to go back. I want to be in it. And coach was great because we always kept in contact. And my last injury, he said, "Look, we got a great opportunity for you. We got a great staff. We feel like we have good teams. There's going to be some movement. You know, you're going to have to come in. You're going to have to earn it. You know, director of player development. You know, that's what you did as well."
Same conversation I had with him.
Exactly.
From an injury.
Right.
Coach, I'm just trying to make it through this season, man. I'm going to fulfill my commitment. I got like 4 months.
Yeah.
But when I'm done, hey, like, can I just come by?
Yeah.
See what's going on. So I totally get that.
And then, you know, from there on, I just knew I knew I wanted to be here. I love going over, and it's the place I love to be every day. You know, and it's such a special place. And when I got that opportunity, I just, you know, I ran with it, and now finally get myself worked into the assistant role now. And it's just been a great run, man. We're just trying to keep it going.
Amazing. Like I've noticed, and I could be wrong, you know, I could be speculating, but I think guys like us who, to some degree, who might have experience and shortcomings to the injury or what may have you, that sense of emptiness, like you said, fulfillment, like something is not done. I still got so much more to give.
Right.
Transitions into coaching, whereas before, like, nah, because if you see yourself playing 10, 12 years,
right.
I can't be doing that. I'm not time. But like you said, when you just, my best friends became the trainers. So that's when I knew, like, something got to give. When the trainers are my best friends,
right.
I'm in the training room 24 hours a day. Like, come on. So you know what? In order for me to feel like I'm getting something out of it, I'm giving back or feel some sense of self-worth, I got to get a new coach. I got to,
Yeah.
give away some of this knowledge and some of my experiences.
Definitely.
And I think it makes you a better coach.
Totally.
For sure. So I'm not glad that you went through the injuries.
No,
I'm not.
I know.
But there's no better, person to have on staff as a former player. I'm speaking that, from my own bias, but also I think everyone in this program can agree, Mike Nardi, you were probably the first one under coach that we can recognize would be a perfect fit. And I think that's what Coach probably said to you before. I think he would be a good coach.
Yeah.
We just brought a different mentality, again, awareness. Like you said, he was very in tune to who you were.
Right.
And I think you were more mature than a lot of us, at that age. So as you said, you're here. This is your 5th year, correct?
Man, that's a good question. I think because 15, 16 was my first season.
Okay,
so I think I'm going on my 7th season.
The 7th season?
Yeah, which is crazy.
7 seasons, you got 2
You start to lose track of them.
I bet you lose how many championships. You got 2 championships.
Yeah.
About what? 5 biggies? I don't know. I mean, I probably won it every time you've been here. If not, maybe one. Who knows? But just to see the success of the program, every time I turn on the TV and I see your face on there, I see the Wayne's face on there. It's just like I still feel like we're still the team.
Definitely,
you know what I mean? Like when I see guys familiar that I was in the trenches with, it just feels great. And I like the fact that coach is doing that and trying to bring back former players who had a print on the program, but also can get back.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, I think we all know as former players that in coach's mind, like that's the most important thing is to keep the guys who have built this tradition a part of this. Mm-hmm. And he takes a lot of pride in that. And we've been fortunate, myself, and, guys who have come back to just be around great staffs, guys who have moved on, who've really done a great job building this program. And, Baker Dunleavy, who we played with,
yes,
who's at Quinnipiac, and Ashley Howard now, who's at LaSalle, Kyle Neptune, who's at Fordham, and even the guys that were here when we played, and Billy Lang and Pat Chambers and Ed Pickney, who was on our 85 team, and Brett Gunning, it was in the NBA now. So like our tree and our network is just continuing to grow. And Joe Jones and Freddie Hill. I mean,
let's go on. Those great guys. Speaking of which, we're gonna get all those guys on the show too. I'm gonna make sure I do my due diligence.
Yeah.
Because those coaches are a huge part to the success of the Villanova program. I mean, they had to go out there and do the hard work and actually convince us that Villanova was the right place, and they did a great job. So, but now, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this year, this upcoming season, the team. You guys had your first game last night.
Yeah.
You guys played very, very well. So you guys won by 40 points. Being St. Mary's, the team played well. What did you see last night as far as just your first test? I mean, I know it's early on in the season, but what did you see? What were some of the good things you saw and some of the things you guys can still get better at?
Yeah, I mean, to give Mount St. Mary's credit, man, we watched them, and I actually had that scout. And it wasn't an easy game, and they're a very experienced team, and they're going to be great in their league. They went to the tournament last year. They won their conference championship tournament, and so we knew coming into this game, just like any other team, and this, we don't, we have respect for everybody, and they've done a great job there, and Coach Engelstad, and so we knew we would have to be prepared, and if our guys didn't bring it from the start, that anything could happen, and that's how we treat every opponent. And to give our guys credit, they came in, they had a great mindset. We played hard, we defended, we rebounded, and obviously all the other things start to come about when you're doing those things and you're making the extra pass and you're sharing the ball. And we have a lot of guys this year that can make plays, and just a team that's very unselfish. And I really thought we just from top to bottom, every guy that came in, they weren't worried about making shots. They were just worried about defending and rebounding and just playing together. And it was great to watch, and it was a great first step. As you know, man, our schedule this year is crazy. It's probably one of the toughest in the country. And we got UCLA coming up, which is not going to be an easy one on the road.
Right. That's how we want it. We want it to be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we want it. We don't want anything to be easy.
Yeah.
Judging by the stats last night, we shot the ball extremely well. I think we made a total of about 16 threes.
Yeah.
So we definitely a lot of members on the solid club, which is great. we can expect, to Justin to play as well as he did. I think he had 27 points.
Yep.
Colin, coming back, getting his feet wet. How was Colin? What did you think on Colin as far as playing against outside competition?
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes, coming off injury, playing against your teammates, sometimes they can take it easy on you when they just want you to be healthy because they know, they're going to go hard as they can, but sometimes they're not going to go hard. But yesterday, him playing an opponent where, who don't know him, maybe going to go at him. Mm-hmm. How did you feel his body and he responded as he tries to get back 100%?
Yeah, I think he's in a great spot. We were lucky enough to scrimmage Rutgers and Duke, close scrimmages, and he had a great progression leading up to those with his health and the plan of getting him back. And I think he's at a point now where he feels great. And I thought he was very good last night. And did a great job with 13 points, 5 assists, no turnovers. So he's the king of not turning the ball over and really taking care of it.
Really?
Yeah, and if he's having 5 assists and 0 turnovers in every game, the points will come. He's a great shooter, but when we're making shots like that and we're spreading the ball around, it's really hard to defend.
So that's key. That's huge for a Villanova guard, not turning the ball over. We've had some guys, some really great ones to do it. Just from my experience of knowing it, you were crazy solid with the ball. 2-hand pass. Reed Price and Mike on our 2-hand pass. How we got Chris? Your 2-hand pass, your bounce pass is solid. Kyle was another solid. Just didn't turn the ball over. That was really big, which I think makes the point guard even more attractive.
Yeah.
Because no matter through the course of 8-9 games, you might see 7 turnovers. That was just nothing. For the amount of time you got the ball in your hand. Yeah. So that's good to know that he's that type of guy because for this team, he needs to be that.
Yeah.
I almost sense a little bit of, and I could be wrong. The shift, not so much our 50th, but you got some upperclassmen, got some underclassmen, a lot of them, and they're still just trying to figure out plug and play who can fit.
Yeah.
From last night's game, what are some of the young guys who stood out to you that you feel, had a good taste of Villanova basketball?
Yeah, I think with our roster, Chris Archidiakon was a solid piece who did a great job for us last year in the tournament. When Colin went down, and then we didn't have Justin either.
Right.
And he did a great job, and he's going to continue to get better. He's one of those guys. And Eric Dixon, I think Eric Dixon is coming on. He did a great job in the offseason with his body.
Yeah,
he looks great.
He looks great. He put that work in. He's always a big guy, but his physique now is just, I like it. Shaq did a great job.
He did.
Along with him.
He did. And then just from top to bottom, our younger guys and our freshmen and Trey Patterson and Nana and Joku and Jordan Longino, those guys are going to continue to get better every game and every day. And they got great mindsets. They just want to be a part of something. And wherever they can fit in, I think they're going to excel at those roles. And they gave us great minutes last night. And then, we're still, obviously, Brian Antoine is another guy that you add to the puzzle who should be coming back soon and is going to be an important piece for us. So I think our mindset right now is really good with our young core guys, and our older guys right now are really leading and they're doing a great job.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was telling every guy that I had on the show so far. I always ask them, who's your dark horse? Who you looking, to step up this year? And I've been continuously picking, Slater as that guy to gel, to bring everything together. He had a great game last night. 5 threes, attacked the basket, got to the rim. That's one thing I've told him before. Get to that rim, live on the free throw line with your athleticism, your size.
Exactly.
It's a way to, stop it, slow the game down, for the team, get us back, set up with defense because we played tremendously on defense.
Yeah.
But also put some points on the board as well. And he's just that type of player. There's no reason why, he cannot live on the free throw line.
Definitely.
I was very, very excited to see how well he played. Tell me about his growth from his freshman year to now.
Yeah, it's we were talking about Dwayne Anderson earlier. and their paths are kind of similar. You know, he came in early and he needed to work on his physicality and his body and understanding how to play at an intensity level. And he just continued to work at that, you know, and Dwayne came in early and he wasn't ready, you know, and then down the line, you know, they're playing against older guys like yourself, you know, so he's playing against Sadiq Bey, you know, and those guys who are pushing him every day. And his mindset was just, all right, just stick with it, you know, just stick with it. Like, I'm going to keep getting better. And obviously you can see it now. He's a confident shooter. You know, he was 5 for 7 last night. He had 5 assists, 4 rebounds, you know, so he's a guy that we really could see from the spring, the summer, that could have a breakout year for us. And for him, that's just being solid, you know, just being solid, catching a shoot, making solid plays and defending, like you said.
You mentioned Dwayne Anderson, and I'm you know, concluded here, but if he can play like Dwayne Anderson did this year, like Dwayne Anderson did his senior year, because he still has another year. He was the Final Four team that year.
Exactly.
And like you said, Dwayne had a slow start, but it wasn't until they had some loss, and I believe Dwayne was the captain, and they brought them all together. And Dwayne team decision was like, we need Dwayne to come in here. And Dwayne kind of helped re-galvanize the guy energy, you know, with the guys as a senior leader. And they wound up playing, you know, went to the Final Four. Dwayne got extensive minutes, you know, from the start. So I hope he can replicate that season. I mean, he's already off to a good start. So if he can only get better, continue, then I feel like we can definitely continue to compete and post banners up here and continue to, you know, celebrate this great tradition that we have here.
Yeah, and I think our guys, it's one thing that we don't really talk about, you know, is that stuff's great, but if we can just get better every day, be the best team by the end of the year, you know, that'll give us a chance of doing some things like that, you know, and every team is different, right? And we just don't want to put any expectations on any specific team because things, as you know, and as I know, things can happen during the season that you just can't predict, you know, so it's unfair to the guys to put those expectations on them, but we do like our crew, we're experienced, and we got a lot of versatile players that know and understand Villanova basketball. So we're excited about this season, man. And we had a good start last night, and now we got a tough one on the road.
Awesome. Well, Mike, thank you so much, man, for being on the show. One of my all-time favorites, as every Villanova person I have on the show, I will say is one of my all-time favorites. We're brothers. But Mike and I are even closer. We share the same birthday, roommates. Like we're like this. So thanks again for having me on the show. Please give your family my love, Sheila, Scott, your beautiful wife, your kids, man, and good luck on Friday against UCLA. And let's bring home another one.
Definitely.
Thank you.
No, great job. We love having you back, and this is great to get our former guys involved. And you've always been a staple point of this program and what you started, and and how we finished. So proud of what you're doing, and go Cats, man. Let's get it going.
Thank you. And that concludes our show, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you next episode. Have a good one. Go Cats.
Go Cats.